Here we go. Tzarayim Tov, everybody. We're now at the exciting part. The Jews are ready to leave Mitzrayim. We've been waiting for this for 3 weeks to get the Jews out of Mitzrayim. Well, Paro wanted them to leave right away in the middle of the night. Moshe said, no, we're not a bunch of burglars. We are regular people. And when the time came in the day, Moshe says, okay, everybody, let's go out of Egypt. So the Jews said, okay, where are the air-conditioned buses, please? You know, it's hot in the desert, especially Pesach time. Oh, the desert's hot. We got air-conditioned buses? No. What? No air-conditioned buses? How are we going to go where? By the way, where are we going, Moshe? Well, Hashem didn't tell me. He didn't tell me where we're going. Wait a minute. We're going out into the desert and we don't even know where we're going. That's right. And there's no air-conditioned buses. That's right. I'm going to ask just another 1 or 2 questions, if you don't mind. Are you going to have like some meals for us? No. We didn't prepare any food. All we got is the leftovers from the Pesach meal we had last night. You know, a little bit of matzah, a little bit of what do you call it? Some korban Pesach. Let's start making some bread right now. Well, so you're not going to have time. We're going to leave very soon. Well, people said, well, we're going to start. So they start, mixing the flour and the water and waiting for the dough to rise. Everyone says, we got to go. We got to go. Oh, wait. No, we can't wait. If we don't leave now, we'll never get to leave again. It's now or never. But I didn't even make any food. What am I going to do? And what about water? Well, we just got to go. Wait a minute. Moshe, have you ever gone into a desert before in your life? Well, let me tell you, I've been in a few deserts. In California, there's a real desert. And there's nothing there, just sand, rocks, a couple trees that don't give you anything to eat. And it's hot. In the day, it's hot. In the night, it's freezing. Not freezing, freezing. That's how cold it is. Freezing. And then when I went to Eretz Yisrael once to visit, we went to a desert called the Maktesh. That's in southern Israel. Boy, nothing there. Just sand. Yeah, you got a couple of wild animals that could kill you also, by the way. You have to be careful. No water, hot in the day, freezing at night. So you're telling us to go in the desert where there's wild animals and all these dangerous things, and we're not to take any food and not to take any water and just go and believe you. Yep, that's right. Well, again, boys and girls, would you do that? Wait a minute. Egypt's not so bad. It's not so bad. I mean, after all, you have to know a lot of things changed in a year. Do you know that? A year ago, let's go back a year ago, they were beating the Jews and whipping the Jews and killing the Jews and not giving them a lot of food. Help us get out of Egypt. But now a year passed. All the Makos came. Remember, when did the Jews stop having to work with the bricks? That was after Kinim. No more work with the bricks. And then the Jews became rich because the Egyptians had to buy water from the Jews. The Egyptians got all their things destroyed and the Jews didn't. And by the time the year of Makkos was over, the Jews were treated a lot nicer. The Egyptians knew we better be nice to the Jews because Hashem's going to punish us badly. So some Jews, I don't know, it might be better to stay here. Well, Hashem got rid of them in the plague of darkness. But now was a real test. And this was the Jewish people's finest moment. They said, you know what, Hashem? We trust you. Moshe, we trust you. We trust Hashem. We will go into the desert. And Hashem loved that moment so much. The Navi years later said, Hashem, I remember how kind you were. You trusted me. You went into the desert. And they left. And, I know you know all about the man and all that stuff, but, it didn't come right away. They went in the desert, and for 30 days, there was no food. What did they live on? A miracle happened. Those matzahs, the leftover matzah, somehow, a little bit, a couple pieces of matzah. They take one bite of the matzah. Guys, I'm hungry. Here, have some of the old matzah. Oh, after one bite of the matzah, I'm full. I'm not hungry anymore. So somehow for 30 days, that food was a miracle, and it lasted for them. And they took the matzah out, and that little bit, and the dough did not rise. And they just went to show how much they trust Hashem. And they had this dough that didn't rise, and somehow it never became chametz. And that showed their emunah in Hashem, their trust in Hashem. And that's so important. Hashem wanted to see that. And they make one stop. The stop is the city of Ramses for a very little time. And then a miracle happened. As if an eagle was flying down, and Hashem just magically took them from Ramses to a place called Sukkot on eagle's wings. And then they came to a city called Asam, which is right at the border of the desert. And now they're looking to go into the desert. Now, because of this story, we all know we have a special holiday called Pesach. And especially the first night of Pesach, when you're going to have the Seder, Pesach's coming soon, 2 months. And when you have the first night of the Seder, that's the very night that the Jewish people were saved in Makas Bechoros. And that's the very night, the next day, the Jewish people left Egypt. And that's what we do. And the things we do now are a little bit different than they did in Egypt. What do we do? What don't we do at our Seder that they did in Egypt? And they even did when there was a Beis HaMikdash. Yes, Ariella, what do we not do now?
Korban Pesach?
We do not have a Korban Pesach now. That is correct. We don't have that. But we have matzah, and we have moror, and we have 4 cups of wine. Now, and we have the matzah to remember how faithful the Jews were, that they went into the desert even before their matzah was able to rise. Now, since this was such a special occasion, there are so many mitzvos Hashem gives us in our lives. So we will remember this most outstanding day. Just like, I don't know if you're old enough to know, Canada has a birthday. It's called Canada Day. That's on July 1st. The United States has a day called Independence Day. That's July 4th. What is the Jewish Independence Day? It's the first day of Pesach. The 15th day of Nisan, when we went out of Egypt, and it's such an important day. Hashem says in the Torah so many times, we got to remember we went out of Egypt. We got to remember we went out of Egypt. And Hashem gave us so many mitzvahs. For example, one mitzvah is to have the holiday of Pesach, where we eat matzah and no chametz. We have a mitzvah of eating a korban Pesach if we had a Beis HaMikdash, eating more, eating matzah. But there's other mitzvahs that we have that we do not on Pesach. Now, let's see who's really smart. There's at least 4 special mitzvahs that we do them not on Pesach, but it's so we remember what happened on Pesach.
2 portions of challah.
Wait. You got to be called on because I see a lot of hands. I want everyone to have the same chance. I don't want anybody crying here that they didn't get a chance. I'm going to cry. So let's have from the Skutaro girls. Who wants to give us an answer from there? Tell me one mitzvah.
Rosh Chodesh.
Rosh Chodesh. It's sort of but that's more of our first, that's from before Pesach. It has to do with Pesach, but I want right to do with the night that the firstborn got killed, and we went out of Egypt specifically for that. Tehillah,
The two challahs?
two challahs on Friday night. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
How do you see that as a connection?
Because of the Quran?
Of the mun. Well, see, now you're saying something correct. It reminds us of the mun. That's true, but it doesn't remind us of when we went out of Egypt that day, that night. It reminds us of the mun in the desert. Absolutely. But what is reminding us that we went out of Egypt that night? Adina?
Is it the grape juice that we drink? Because when you have because when they were so happy and grape juice is sweet and we eat and they were so happy that night that they could leave.
Well, we do drink wine at the Seder, but that's on Pesach. I want to know something we do, even when we drink wine the other times of the year, that doesn't have to do with Pesach. Good try. Akiva, what do you think? Kiddush. Well, the truth of the matter is it's a little more than Kiddush. Really, Shabbos. Kiddush is part of Shabbos. And again, Tehillah, even the two breads. But Shabbos is a Chilitzias Mitzrayim. Every Shabbos, we keep Shabbos because Hashem created the world in 6 days and rested in the seventh. And he also took us out of Egypt. That's one of them. Okay, Hillel, what do you think? You're back. Hillel? Hello? You have an answer? No, now you muted yourself. You
Pesach and Sukkot.
I know. But I wanted a particular one mitzvah, not a holiday, but one mitzvah. So I see this is really hard question. So no, that's all has to do with Pesach. I already did that already. So let me teach you a little bit. And now you're going to know some things that you could tell your parents on Shabbos. First, okay, Kiva, last chance. And then I have to go and explain because time's running out.
In Shema, we say Vayomer.
In Shema, we say the last paragraph of Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, the mitzvah tzitzis, to remember that I took out of Egypt. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. But I want to focus on ones in this week's parsha. So put your hands down. Now it's my turn, and I'll give you a chance later. Hashem told Moshe that if there is ever a Jewish lady who is not the daughter of a Kohen, and she's not the daughter of a Levi, she's a regular Jewish lady, and her husband is not a Kohen and is not a Levi, and if her first baby she has is a boy, only if the first baby is a boy. So I'm looking around the room here. I don't know all of your families, but the Atlases, the firstborn was not a boy, it's a girl.
Right. Also,
and the Skutaros don't have any boys. And the Michalowicz children, although Akiva was the firstborn boy, but his mommy is the daughter of a Kohen. Ellie, I think you might. Are you the firstborn from your mommy? Unmute. Yes. So Ellie, you're one. Adina is not a boy, so that won't apply to her.
I'm the oldest, but
Yeah, Ariella is not a boy. Out of luck. So really, it's only about Ellie right now, but you should all know this. If a Jewish lady has a Jewish boy is the first baby, Ellie, don't be scared now, okay? You're going to not be scared? Okay, pick your head up a little higher. I only see your hair, Ellie. I don't see, maybe sit a little higher or maybe adjust your computer because now I see your face. But lower, that's perfect. Now I see your handsome face. That's good, amazing. So anyway, When you have a Jewish baby boy, that's the first one, he belongs to Hashem. And the Kohen, if he wants, can take the baby and bring him to the Beis Hamikdash to live there the rest of his life. Whoa, Ellie, I don't think your mommy would be happy if right now a Kohen knocked on your door. Hello? Do you have a little Bechor in your house by the name of Ellie? Yes. Well, we're taking him. What? Yes. He belongs to Hashem. What? Yes. Do you remember so long ago when Hashem killed all the firstborns and he let the Jewish baby firstborns live? Well, guess what? All baby firstborns, we have to remember that. And all baby firstborns, they belong to Hashem. Whoa. What do you mean? I'm never going to see him again. Sorry, those are the rules. Is there anything I can do? Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you something. You could do something called, here's a hard word. It's called Pidyon Haben. Haben means a son. Pidyon means to redeem, which means to make an exchange. So, well, how does that work? Well, it goes very simple. A Kohen could come to your house, and we give you a choice. And the Kohen goes to the mommy in the day and says, okay, you have a choice. If you want, we could take your baby, you'll never see him again. If you want, you give Hashem 5 silver coins. Real silver, not fake. 5 silver coins. You give it to the Kohen, he represents Hashem, and you get the 5 silver coins. He gets the 5 silver, and you get to keep the baby. So Ellie, let you know that this happens with every Jewish boy. When does it happen? 30 days after he's born, when he's still a little baby. Why 30 days? Because if a baby lives for 30 days, we can assume he's going to live a long time. Because if chas v'shalom, a baby would be sick, usually happens when they're very, very little. But once they're 30 days, we assume the baby's going to be a healthy baby boy. So Ellie, you may want to ask your parents and say, you know, I was too little to remember, but I'm sure you did the mitzvah of Pidyon Haben, that a coin came to the house and you gave him 5 silver coins, and now that's why I get to be in your house and you get to keep me. This happens that does happen all the time, because remember, if the oldest is a girl, out. Not that we don't like girls, but the girls didn't have to worry. Girls are much holier than boys, so they don't have to get redeemed. But the boys, because it was mostly danger for Jewish boys, very dangerous, that they got saved, so they have to pay back, as it were. So this is called a mitzvah of Pidyon Haben. So we always will remember, every time there's a Jewish boy who's the oldest boy, you give the Kohen 5 silver coins and you get to keep him. That's one mitzvah. Now, you know what, Ellie? You're a lot luckier than animals. And I'll tell you why. Now, when we were farmers, we had lots of kosher animals that we raised. So guess what? Just like in Egypt, the firstborn animals of Egypt died. And the firstborn Jewish animals did not die. So if you have an animal, and here it doesn't matter boy or girl, your cow gives birth to a baby cow, you got to give it to the Kohen. Can I redeem it? No. You got to give it to the Kohen, period. Whoa. That's it. You have to give it away. Now, that's okay because he's not your son. But a cow is very expensive. It's worth hundreds of dollars. Any animal, any kosher animal, a kosher animal, sheep, lamb, any of those kosher animals, it just goes to the Kohen, goes to Hashem. Forget it. Goodbye. Why? Because you have to remember that Hashem saved all the firstborn animals. Now, what if you have, is a donkey a kosher animal? Is a donkey a kosher animal? Does anybody know? You ever had a donkey for supper? You ever come home? What's for supper, Ma? Oh, we're having donkey. Donkey? Donkey's not kosher. Well, wait a minute. If he's not kosher, What do you do with a donkey? Know what you got to do? You got to make an exchange for the donkey, just like you did for the firstborn son. And you have to exchange and give the money to Hashem. So that's already how many mitzvahs? 3 mitzvahs. And there's another one. Tefillin. Tefillin. Because in the tefillin is the Shema. And Hashem gave us the mitzvah of tefillin. And that's a mitzvah. Every Jewish boy, when he's bar mitzvah, he puts on tefillin. And that remembers we ran out of Egypt as well. You know what else? There's another mitzvah. A mezuzah. A mezuzah also reminds us of that. Lots of mitzvahs that remind us that that Hashem took us out of Egypt. And that's to always remember how amazing this is, because this was the most important holiday for all the Jewish people. So we got all these mitzvahs that help us remember this completely. Okay. Now, why, by the way, why is there a special mitzvah with a donkey? The answer is because the donkeys were the ones who carried all the gold and silver and helped us out. Now, there's another exciting thing. Does anybody here own a dog? Nobody? Good for you. But anyway, if you owned a dog, now, there's a real interesting mitzvah. What happens? You buy a kosher cow. You think it's kosher. And you shech the cow. But then you look inside and you see there's something wrong with it inside. And you're not allowed to eat it. It's treif. It's not kosher anymore. What do you do with it? You can't eat it. What do you do with it? You know what the Torah says? You give it to the dog. You shechted the animal, it's not kosher. You can't eat it. Give it to your little dog. Give it to Bowser. Give it to Schnauzer. Give it to Lassie. What about the cats? Meow, meow. No, the cats don't get. Why should the dogs get your treif meat? Well, remember, a dog doesn't have to keep kosher. You know that. And boy, the dog's happy. Boy, a dog loves meat, fresh meat. Ach, geschmack for a dog. Were you ever a dog, guys? You'd know if you were a dog, but you weren't a dog. But if you were a dog, man, you'd love it. Doesn't have to be kosher. You don't have to keep kosher if you're a dog. Now, why was that so? The answer is the Torah tells us in this week's portion that when the Jewish people were leaving Egypt, there was like millions of them leaving Egypt. It was making all kinds of, people leaving. Usually when a lot of things happen like that, do you ever go to sleep at night? Do you ever go to sleep at night and you're trying to put your head on the pillow, you're trying to sleep, and you're almost in La La Land. You know what La La Land is? That's schluffy land. And you're almost ready to sleep. Does this ever happen to you? And you hear from outside the house, roof, 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 roof. And all of a sudden it becomes a minion. There's a minion outside. One dog's talking to the other dog, roof, roof, which probably means shalom aleichem. And the other goes, roof, 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 aleichem shalom. Roof, roof, roof. What was your supper like? Roof, ow, ow, roof, roof. Dogs make a lot of noise, and especially when they make noise when a stranger walks by. And you know what? Even if the owner comes by, the dog's so happy to see it, he gives a happy bark. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. In general, dogs make noise when there's a lot of people around. That's the rule. That's the way Hashem made them. Well, when the Jews left Egypt, Hashem wanted the whole world to know that this is a miracle of miracles of miracles. So everything was a miracle. Everything was a miracle. So you know what was one of the miracles? That when 1 million Jews, more than they're walking out, and there's a lot of dogs in Egypt, man. Boy, that's Doggyville. All the dogs just watched. Like when you watch a video, you guys, when you watch a video, you know what your faces look like the whole time you're watching a video? You're mesmerized. You don't talk. You just. The dogs were quiet. Not one dog barked. That was most unusual. So Hashem said, normally dogs bark. So this dog did not bark. So I'm going to give him a reward because they helped the Kiddush Hashem. Whenever there's treif meat, give it to the dog. He gets a wonderful meal. Now let's think about this. Does dog really have bechira? Does he have really free will choice to decide what's good or bad? No, they just didn't bark. And yet Hashem gives him a reward. Why? Because they made a big Kiddush Hashem. It was a big Kiddush Hashem. So what's the Torah teaching us? That if boys and girls like you, who have a big Yetzer Hara, like everybody does, and you're able to control your Yetzer Hara and make a Kiddush Hashem, you're going to get more than just treif meat, man. You're going to get good stuff for doing a Kiddush Hashem. Okay, now.
I don't want treif meat anyway.
From the Scutaro girls are raising their hands nicely. What do you want to ask?
When you're talking about the Pidyon Haben, what if the father, okay, never mind.
Never mind. Well, maybe you might want to ask, what if it happened that the father doesn't give the money? And let's say today, we don't have a Beis Hamikdash, you don't have Kohanim knocking on your door. For whatever reason, let's say the parents forgot. Maybe they never knew that law. Not every boy and girl goes to good schools like you go. Maybe your father, mother, didn't go to any school at all. And they didn't come and listen to our class today. And they know this. They don't even know there's such a mitzvah. So what if they didn't do it? And then you go to your father or mother and say, hey, Dad, did you ever give me a pidyon haben? And he goes, I don't know what it is. Uh-oh. So what happens? What happens if you don't have a pidyon haben and it's already way more than 30 days? It's 30 years. You know what? You still have to do a pidyon haben. So what do? You don't need your father anymore. You call up a Kohen and say, hello, you Mr. Kohen? Yes, I'm Mr. Kohen. I need a pidyon haben. For who? Your son? No, for me. For you? What happened to you? Well, my father didn't know about it, so I'd have to do it. So now you have to do your own pidyon haben and spend your own 5 coins. Every firstborn boy has to have a pidyon haben. Yes, Akiva, what's your question?
Well, if your grandfather is a Kaihen, do they still have to pay money for you?
No, I mean, if your grandfather then had a girl, so let's say you, Akiva, I think, if you'll have a boy, firstborn boy, I think, or if, let's say, Moshe has a firstborn boy. Moshe, do you want to have a boy when you grow up? And if you ever, then you would do a pidyon. Even though your grandfather is a Kohen, but you're not, and you're not the son of a Kohen. So therefore, you would not, if you have a baby boy, you don't have to have a pidyon haben. Okay, that ends all the mitzvahs. We have finished the parsha. So now I don't know, what are we going to learn tomorrow? Does anybody have a suggestion? Raise your hand, because I finished the parsha. We know the parsha now. So anybody have a suggestion? You want to just not have class? Would you rather not have class or have a class with something else? Yes, Hillel?
Class with something else.
What do you say, Hillel?
You should have class and